What's going on, guys? It's Michael Nicholas Pierce. Welcome to Inside Equity, home of real news for our people, our culture, our community. Today we have the one, the only, my boy, my right-hand man, Ray Parker. Thank you, man, for coming out today. I appreciate you for sure.
Thanks for having me, man. Thanks for having me, Jay.
So we met, of course, outside of here. For the background story, I was a part of the United Way small business program where Ray was one of my one and only career coach. There was two. But I had the pleasure of working with Ray, and he started off as my coach and ended up being a good friend and brother of mine.
Facts.
And throughout that time, man, you just gave me a lot of gems, a lot of insight just on entrepreneurship. And I was already in a pretty decent space, and you helped me to elevate my business. And I've seen what you've done for other people as well. So before we even get into anything, man, what was it that made you want to get into the small business entrepreneur space? And not only just being an entrepreneur, but helping other people elevate and scale their business?
Yeah, man, that's a long story. And first of all, thanks for having me today. I really appreciate the platform. But that's really a long story for me because it goes really back for me like to high school, right? And I used to work at a coffee shop in high school, and I used to really, really work hard at this place. And I had my manager. He would come in. So my manager's dad was the owner of the coffee shop, right? So my manager would come in and say it was just he and I working together. He would always say to me, Ray, work smarter, not harder. And he would just lead a store for like hours at a time. So I'm running the whole store by myself, right? And I used to resent that fact. But at the same time, that was how I learned how to run the store. So at certain points, it was just like me. I knew what was in the register. I knew how much everything cost. I knew what was in the stock room. I knew, what needed to be ordered. Like it was just me really having that one-on-one opportunity with the business to really learn it. And it was a small coffee shop, but in my head, I'm like, yo, I'm never working for nobody for the rest of my life. Like I can't really live with that.
Yeah.
Like, and one thing he always used to say to me, because I used to get mad, and I used to tell him, like, you gonna just leave me here to run the store by myself? He was like, I'll be back, and would just leave, right? So I used to be so mad, but he used to always say, Ray, work smarter, not harder. Ray, work smarter, not harder. What does that really mean? And the whole time it's just like, yeah, he's making money, but I'm doing the work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So how do I create a system, a business where it could work for me and I can still have the life or live the life and have the time that I want to do the things that I like to do. So that's kind of really what started me on this path, like really with entrepreneurship. I think what really made me get a passion for it was when I went to college, I studied business management, but my focus and concentration was small business and entrepreneurship, right? So while it wasn't giving me any real first world experience, right? I didn't run a business in school, but at the same time, it just gave me that theoretical knowledge of really what it took, right? So for example, I saw my first business plan like my sophomore year in college, right? And just understanding the structure, the components, why it was needed, and what the elements of it was. And that was a huge help that helped me understand like the organization. And like people see businesses as like, just probably a front door and a logo and a sign, but I really see it as a structure, like an entity. And, I'm thinking about it, if you think about it like your human body, right? You got your brain, you got your heart, you got your lungs, everything has to work together in order to make it work. That's how I view a business, like a system. You know what I mean? So that really helped me really develop that concept of it, right? But the real big impact that it had on me was just the stories that I would get about what every entrepreneur's journey was, right? Like we studied companies like, well, this was way back when I was in college, but the McDonald's stories, Starbucks, Hewlett Packard, like a lot of these stories of, these people who started their businesses and where they were, and their struggles and the hardships that it took for them to get to be the corporations that we all know, recognize, and love today, right? And I fell in love with those stories. And getting to know those let me know that it was possible, right? Like guys like you and I could one day come up with an idea and really make it come to fruition and help a lot of people along the way. So that's really what took me to my work. But then furthermore, coming out of college, I didn't go directly into running my own business. While I always knew in the back of my mind that I wanted to, I still didn't have, the idea. I didn't have nothing that I really wanted to sink my teeth into. And I went and worked in corporate finance for a while. And just working as a financial analyst for a while, it just allowed me, again, I'm seeing it as a business. I'm not seeing it as a, just a job. So I'm really, I always call it the spook that's at by the door.
Mm.
I'm collecting data. I really want the information. I want the experience, but I understood, like, what are the money makers, right? And everything else is just to keep the machine going, right? So, we were the oil, right? And we made sure that everything was smooth and working together and integrated, and we kept that machine churning.
Mm.
But me collecting that data was just like me seeing, the opportunity gaps that existed at the same time with the people that I was working with and the people I went home to. Because after I left school, I came back to Philly,
Mm.
right? And I always call it, like I lived in two worlds, right? I go into my corporate law firm. People live in the outskirts of Philadelphia, so you got people coming from Jersey, Delaware County, all the counties surrounding Ardmore and stuff like that, coming into the city to work, and then they'll catch the mainline train right back out of the city, right? But they
Mm.
making their big bucks at the firm. Me, I'm catching the trolley, the sub, right back into Southwest Philly. And when I go back to Southwest Philly, I seen people that didn't understand all the money that was taken, all the money being exchanged and big money being made in the very city they live in
Mm.
while they're living in poverty, while they don't have the mindset. I mean, I literally used to catch the trolley from downtown to Southwest, and there was like literally like a invisible line where, like an economic line,
Yeah.
where it was just like everybody got off the trolley, and then we in the slums now, right? And it was just living in those two worlds. I'm like, how do we elevate the mindset and, for these businesses that do exist out here to be elevated to the level that this firm is, right? Like, what are they missing?
Mm.
What are the key elements? And, me asking myself those questions really led me to want to help the small business owner, get that leg up. I always talk about like the higher conversation. Like every time we talk, it's like, bro, these are the basics. Like everything that I talk about and we work through in that program honestly was the basics to running a business. These are just things the core competencies, right? But there's just an educational gap. In our community, there's just a lot of people that had to get it from the mud, right? We hustlers, right? We just getting it the best way we know how, right? And we spend it as fast as we earn it.
Mm.
And we don't understand the savings portion of it, you know what I mean? Being strategic about how we utilize our business funds and things like that. So it's just like, let me take this knowledge that I really just grabbed from working in this corporate space and bring it back to my people and show them how they can take their businesses to the next level.
Mm. That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
Truly, big ups to you, bro. Giving you your flowers. That's commendable because
Thank
you're one of the few that I know personally that are genuinely doing it for a
Absolutely.
passion, not just a paycheck, not just because it's your job, but you actually want to see your community thrive.
That's it.
There are a few things that you mentioned that were big for me. You mentioned systems, you mentioned education, and you mentioned mindset, and having the basics to run your business. With your background, what are some of the things that you've seen in terms of the mindset? And the reason why I ask that is because you made a comment of, oh, I don't want to work for anyone else. I'm gonna work smarter, not harder, like your boss, told you. However, people have taken that I'm going to work smarter, not harder. I'm not working for anyone else because I want to have the flexibility to be able to not be confined to a 9 to 5. I'm going to be on my own time, not knowing or realizing that you're not going to work a 9 to 5 anymore. You're just going to work 25/8, not 24/7, 25/8.
Facts.
Or I want to travel every other week. Well, if you made $5,000, you didn't really make $5,000.
Yep.
You got to pour that back into your business. It doesn't go
Yep.
back right into your pocket. So what are some of the things that you have witnessed in terms of the shortcomings within our people that are in small business, and what are some of the things that we could do to try to rectify those situations?
Oh man. So much there that I really want to touch on, but I think I can start here, right? And this goes back to the education side, right? And I hate to do this, but I really do blame, uh LLC Twitter and Instagram for really muddying what it really means to be an entrepreneur up
Mm.
for our generation. And this is what I mean. Of course, there's vanity, right? There are people who are not going to show you how hard they had to work to be able to afford the mansion on the hill and the Rolls Royce and the Bentley, right? And I can say it as simple as this, right? If all of our labor is worth a certain amount of money, right? Let's say $100 an hour,
Mhm.
right? in order to make $1,000, that means you got to work 10 hours, right? So in order to make, $100,000, how many hours does that mean you have to work, right? So you would have to get somebody to assist you
Mm-hmm.
in making more money, right?
Of course.
Every person that wants to grow and scale their business doesn't really understand the importance of having a good, strong team in order to get to the mountaintop, as far as hiring or bringing on or partnering with the right people to help you get from point A to point B to point C. That's the number one thing,
Mm.
right? Partnerships. I think number two, right? And this again, LLC, Twitter, in the vanity portion. Like you said 25-8 earlier, and I agree. You're not privy to being a marketing guru or an accounting guru off the rip, right? Or even from a administrative function. You might not be a person who understands how to keep your files, keep your records
Mm-hmm.
in order and things like that. Who's going to do that for you?
Mm-hmm.
You need a team, right? You have to hire your weaknesses. You have to know what your competencies are. So if you're a chef, for example, that has nothing to do with you being a good business owner,
Yeah.
right? You're just a good chef. Now, that doesn't mean you can't have a successful business, but you have to understand what it takes to get there. And people want to skip so many steps. And that's why you got people working 25-8, because you're trying to be everything. You're doing your branding yourself. You're doing your marketing yourself. You know what I mean? You're doing your management yourself. You're trying to, do your procurement. You going out, you got to pick up all your meats and, all your vegetables and everything like that, take it back to your restaurant. And then after that, you got to break it down. Then you got to cook it. And then at the end of the night, you got to do your accounting. Now you got to count your register, make sure all the money is there. And then hopefully you got a CPA or an accountant,
Right.
but then you got to do your taxes. Then you got to go on social media and make posts. There's just so many things, and you're just one person. So again, you can't do it yourself. You have to have a strong team, and it's going to take work. And one of the things having a job alleviates you of is having to worry about just doing your job, right? If you were a chef that worked at, Mastro's or, Fogo de Chao, you could just show up to work and do your job and go home, right? But entrepreneurs aren't privy to that. That's a luxury. That's a luxury of building your business up right. That is not the status quo. That is not what most entrepreneurs do. And honestly, and people hate when I tell them this, but I say sometimes you're better off just working a job, because you might be able to make more in your job than you do running your business, because you might not have opened up the right business in the right place at the right time, right? Understand your industry. Understand your why. Everybody's why is different. And that goes back to what I was mentioning earlier about the story, right? Everybody has a story. Everybody's why is different, but if you just went into business just to make money, you're in for a rude awakening, because you're going to work harder than you ever did. So I encourage people to start a business if they have an idea. I encourage people to have multiple streams of income. I encourage people to have a passion for what they do and what they sell. But I also want people to understand that you can't do it by yourself. You know what I mean? It's going to take a lot of people in working in tandem like a machine to really elevate your business and grow and scale it.
So let's say, hypothetically speaking, one of the viewers or listeners who is tuned in right now, they are fresh slate. I have an idea. I want to start a business. Off the top, what would be a step-by-step process that you would give them to ensure that they're, one, in compliance with the state? Because that's a big issue that a lot of our people need to get up on, is one, making sure they have their licensing and credentials in order. People don't realize that businesses need to have insurance.
Yes.
Accounting, it's tax season,
Yes.
it's a new year,
Yes.
making sure that all of these things are in order. And then, of course, and this is something that I know that you even worked on me with, was just something as simple as customer service, which can also go a long way just in terms of being able to scale and have a business long term. So what would be a step-by-step process that you would give, the soon-to-be entrepreneur to ensure that they don't fall into the rabbit hole of the innovative, person with the biggest dream, but the smallest work ethic, and they, essentially fail.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you don't have work ethic, you're not going to be successful. Let's just right out the gate get that right out of the way. That's not, it's not conducive to what you're trying to embark on, right? You got to have the work ethic. You can't be lazy and expect to be a successful entrepreneur. I just don't think those two things go together. You could be a genius, and again, you might be able to get people to work for you and do the work for you, but still going to take some work.
Yeah.
Step by step for me, I always tell people to get started. Like, it's not really before you get certified with the state and stuff like that. Because I don't want people to get caught up in the boundaries and the roadblocks that can exist, when it comes to starting your business. So I always encourage people to get started. Test your market. See if people like your product. If you sell body butter, for example, I don't know, and you just want to see if people like it. If people willing to buy it, cool. You know that people are willing to patron your business.
Right.
That should give you the faith to take the next steps, which is getting certified with your state. But I look at it like federal, state, and then your local municipality, which is your city, right? So federally, get your EIN number, right? That's first things first. After that, get your LLC, corporation, whatever it is, with your resident state. We're in Delaware. So reach out to the state. You can go on the state website, get that. Go to irs.gov, get your EIN number. And then with your local municipality, whatever licenses you have to get in order to operate your business, you get that as well. They want to know that your business is recognized as an entity. If you're operating as a sole proprietor, whatever the case may be, just register with the state, let it be known, right? After that, it's just really building your business and building your brand. You know what I mean? Getting yourself out there, networking with the right people. If you have something, because some businesses take off overnight. Some people don't really understand how much of a viral success. Some people are good at marketing or had the right person try their product, and next thing you know, they're overnight success, right? In that time frame, if you do find yourself making money faster than you can really organize yourself or organize your business, there it goes again. Hiring a team, getting the right people to get in place to really get that off of your shoulders. Do what you did, right? Get yourself a coach. Get somebody that can teach you how to run your business, make sure everything is taken care of. Don't feel like you got to know everything. Only thing I really encourage people to understand and get to know, and this was like all of my goal, is just getting people to understand their margins, their numbers and stuff like that. But outside of that, like I said, you don't have to be a specialist at everything. So get the right team around you. Get people around you that support you, that really are going to make sure that your business get to where you want it to be. And after that is really just being consistent, delivering a quality product, service, or experience for people to continue to come back and patron your business, right? Because your business lives or dies based on based on the people you serve.
Yeah.
Right. And if you got loyal followers, you got loyal customers, then you'll be in business for a very long time. But focus on that, because they are the ones that determine whether or not you'll be able to get that big house on the hill, to drive that Rolls Royce that I was talking about earlier. Make them your focus. Make sure you satisfy the people that you're in it for. And that takes me back to my point earlier about loving what you do. You have to love it, because sometimes you're going to have to, eat, a crumb pie, because it's just like every day not going to be glorious. You're not going to like it. You're not going to like waking up. You're going to have to do things when you don't feel like it. And you're going to have to smile when you don't want to. You're going to have to shake a hand of a person you probably don't really like. You know what I mean? So find a business that you love. Start. Don't think about, the parameters. Like I said, hire a coach to get that out the way for you. Hire somebody that can help, or maybe you can find somebody for free. Maybe you got a cousin. Find a mentor that can help you navigate that. You know what I mean? Bureaucracy, I feel like, is just a control mechanism. You know what I mean? Sometimes we don't need it, but I feel like it's necessary to regulate things. But sometimes it could be a lot to really navigate through. But you got people who are out here who can help you make that very seamless, and you can just focus on what you do best.
Yeah. Thanks, man, for that insight. So the biggest thing that we've, you mentioned LLC, social media. And the beautiful side of having social media now is the level of exposure,
Yeah.
especially here within our small state of Delaware. And we talked about this offline, but there are a lot of programs for entrepreneurs and small businesses up in the northern Delaware area, of course, Newcastle County. And now they're starting to migrate down south to the Sussex and Kent County area as well, to, I don't want to say catch them up to speed, but we want to make sure that it's the opportunities are spread out throughout the state. Off the top, what are there some programs that you know that are available to up and coming and already established entrepreneurs here in the state of Delaware?
First, I got to shout out my former program, the Minority Small Business Program, powered by Barclays with the United Way of Delaware. It was a really good program. You get one-to-one coaching, individualized business plans or strategies that you could implement into your business to help get you to the next level. That was a really good program to be a part of, and I really do stand by the work that we intended to do and to have done while with that program. But there's also a ton of resources at SBDC, right? They have coaches as well, and their coaches do some of the same things we do. They provide technical assistance to small businesses, and they have a ton of resources on their website. You can go to, they have sessions, they have class sessions that you can go to for your business planning, marketing, accounting, FAQs about your business. Like, there's a bunch of different programs. They have a calendar that they put on their website, and SBDC is statewide. Launcher program. I was just talking about the launcher program earlier. You go in, it's a 12-week course, and they have their graduation at the end when everybody gets their custom business plan, customized to your business. And I really suggest that to people who have an idea but maybe didn't flush it out. And maybe you didn't get started yet, but you can go through your business plan, because actually in the business planning process, and you're going through your thoughts, you can see whether or not your business is going to be profitable or not, just by going through that process. And it's really important step that a lot of people skip, but that launcher program really gives that to them, and they line you up with other resources throughout the state as well. Wilmington Alliance, that's local, but I mean locally or focused on Wilmington, but at the same time, they do offer a lot of funds to small businesses throughout the state as well. And I got to shout out the team at Barclays again, because they are like behind small business in a major way throughout the
Absolutely.
state of Delaware. And they've been really putting their money where their mouth is as far as putting these programs into play, because without them, our program with the United Way would not have existed, and we would not have had the success that we had. So I really got to give a special nod to the team over there at Barclays for doing that. But the statewide initiatives, I think I would really point to the Minority Small Business Program through the United Way and SBDC first. And then Launcher is in Georgetown, Wilmington, and Dover.
Mentioning Barclays, it's crazy to see, and crazy in a good way, because they don't just write a check because it's a write-off. You could tell that they genuinely care.
Yes.
I've seen Barclays, being a product of the Minority Small Business Program through United Way. I've seen the same gentleman, Adam, shout out to him, literally front and center at my graduation.
Yep. Kev.
And Kev.
Adam and Kev.
Adam and Kev.
Shout them
And
out.
same thing down at the university, at the Delaware State University.
Yeah.
They poured into our students there, and they don't just write the check. No, they show up.
Yep.
When they had DSU, the College of Business, has their Deep Day, the Delaware Executive Exchange Program, and it's this huge event where all the college students, they come, and you have all, Vanguard, Capital One, KPMG, and all of these are great organizations. Barclays will stand there and they'll witness. They'll be involved. They'll talk to the students. They'll be judges in the case competition. Last year, they actually they sponsored the case competition where college students made. I think that the winning team, each member received $10,000.
That's fire.
Imagine being 19 years old,
Yeah.
you do a case competition, and you make $10,000
that's fire.
at 19, 20, 21, 22. So it's phenomenal to see, man. Shout out to Barclays for all that they do within the state of Delaware.
For sure. It was a major lifeblood for our program. I mean, yeah.
Absolutely. And even I've been out the program now for over a year, actually 2024, 2 years. And I still talk to Adam to this day.
Yeah.
Like, he actually called me and said, hey, I just wanted to touch base. You do good work. I want to see you thrive. He doesn't have to do that.
Nope.
And
That's what it's about.
it's a beautiful thing to see, because there are a lot of great people, but people aren't taking that extra step, going that extra mile. Like they gain nothing from it.
It's not just a one-off, sayonara, see you later.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a, no, I'm invested in seeing you succeed and nothing else, right? I want nothing from you but to see you be successful.
Right.
And how many people are going to come to you with that in their heart, and that's a genuine thing. And that's what we tried to really, push and promote, is like, I don't want nothing from you.
Yeah.
Just show up for yourself. And I just want to see you be great.
Yeah.
And they really glean that over at Barkley. So yeah, it's a great team, man.
Absolutely. All right. So real quick. If you had to give one gem to a starting entrepreneur, what would it be? You dropped about 30 of them today.
I know, right? I don't, and I'm trying to avoid repeating myself. But if I had one gem, I'm gonna have to repeat myself. Customer service. Right? Focus on delivering a great product, great service, or a great experience to your customer. If you can get a loyal customer, you'll be in business for a very long time. Your customers are the most important element. Serve your people and build your community, right? I think Wallow says this all the time, is billions of people on the planet. You only need like a small percentage of them, not even a percent, right? Like a quarter of a percent. That's all you need to get a loyal following, and you'll be in business forever. So just keep your customers first. So what does that mean to me? That means be on time, right? Do what you say you're going to do. If you give somebody, a product, make sure they feel like they're happy with their purchase. Make them feel good about their buying decision, right? When a person is buying something, and people don't look at money like time, but I do. I look at my money like time. I'm giving you some of my time. And I don't know how much money you make. I don't know how much money nobody makes, right? But if you divide how much money you made by the amount of hours it took you to make it, you can put a time value to it, right? So let's say it costs you $100 an hour, right? And you give somebody an hour of your time. That's it, right? So when I'm spending my money, I'm thinking, all right, I spent $15. That's like a quarter of an hour. It took me, you know what I'm saying? That's how important it is. That's how serious you got to take it. Like I can't get my time back.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm giving you my time if I'm giving you my money. And that's how I look at it. So be mindful of that. Take care of your people. Take care of your customers. Take care of your constituents. Make them feel good about working with you and, till the end, right? I don't know if y'all been looking in the news, but those new Stanley Cups, they are not even new. They've been around forever. But,
right.
Is a social media craze just took them through the roof all of a sudden, right? And this is a company that have existed, that people just, just standing by, and then next thing you know, the right person say the right thing at the right time, take them to that next level, right? And it can happen just like that, right? Deliver a quality product consistently and just be good at it, and you never know when your time will come. But your reputation will take you places that, no amount of salesmanship. You can do this dog and pony dance all you want. You can sit on social media, make 100 posts and reels and do whatever you got to do. Deliver a good product and a good experience, and you'll be fine. That's it. It's that simple.
Love it. And the last question for tonight, what would you change in a perfect world about what you see in the small business sector within the African American community?
Think for me, and I don't know if this is like the popular opinion, right? This is just my observation, right? But I read a book by Don Peoples, and he was talking about how large corporations don't see minority or Black-owned businesses as business opportunities, right? Like to partner with. They see us as philanthropic opportunities to donate to. And I always wonder why we're not taken serious in the business landscape. And my wish would be that we take ourselves more serious and know our value, right? If you look at culture, today through entertainment and arts and stuff like that, and how we've dominated culture, but we're not the main beneficiaries off of it, right? And I really want us to recognize our power. I really want us to recognize our essence, and that we have culture for sale. And in selling that culture, we should be the ones that get the profit from that to take back to our community and change the way it looks without any interference from outside entities or them telling us how and what we need to do to get our communities together. And that's a macro lens, because I know a lot of people, you know, we get caught up in our world, like we constrict ourselves to just what we have going on in our day to day, and we can put our heads down and grind and do for self in that capacity, right? You got to take care of yourself first. But I look at, you know, the larger picture is who's going to come to, you know, your restaurant from outside of your community, right? Like, I'm not just going to support Mike because he's Black owned. I want to support Mike because he's the best, because he's good. And I just want him to have the same platform as these other businesses, right? I'm not just supporting you, like, again, not out of philanthropic.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm just doing something for him because he's Black. Nah, Mike's the best. And I want you to be recognized among other photography companies or firms that do some of the same things. And I want you to take yourself so serious like that, right? Don't pigeonhole yourself and put yourself in a position where people only view you as Black owned this or this, you know what I mean? And not to put a stain on being Black owned. It's great. I take a great sense of pride in who I am and where I come from, but I am not one faceted, right? I'm worldly. And I think my experience and what I offer, my product and services, can benefit the world. So have that level of confidence and intention in what you're delivering. Make sure that, you know, people take you seriously no matter where they come from, right? I didn't have the benefit and pleasure to go to a HBCU. A lot of people that I talk to have, but I say, you know, in being at a PWI, we were able to make waves on campus no matter who we were around, right? You can fit into any audience, you know what I mean? And not saying that they would have came, if we'd opened up a business, they all would have came and supported us, but I really had the confidence that I can get anybody to support my business, not just Black people, you know what I'm saying? And I want to be taken as serious as anybody when they walk in the meeting room, right? I already walk in, you know what I'm saying? They already knocking me, giving me strikes when I walk in. But when I walk out of that room, they know what it is. So I want people to carry it that way. Like, we're not charity. You're not doing a favor by patroning my business. You're coming to me because I'm the best. And I'm good at what I do. And I made you feel good about your purchase. And I made you want to be a loyal follower, consumer, customer, things like that. And let the vanity go. I'm just here to do good work. That's it.
Yeah, you didn't have to drop the mic like that, bro. Wow, man. Thank you again. Thank you again for your time. Thank you for the gems that you dropped today.
Yeah.
I just want to give a quick shout out to the man behind the camera, Dr. James C. Daniels III of Don't Judge Me Productions. Make sure you check him out.
Sure.
Shout out to JR the Kid Productions and the Fifth Media headquarters for hosting us. Yeah. Shout out to the Racial Equity Consortium at the one and only Delaware State University. Sorry you didn't get that experience, but you should have been Hornet. But it's all good though. Until next time, guys, stay tuned and we'll have more Inside Equity stuff for you soon. Peace out.